Ah, clearly my winning personalities brought you back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and a few days ago we covered the news that the original Modern Warfare 2 and the original Modern Warfare 3 have appeared on the Australian ratings board. Now this could indicate a number of things. It might indicate that both games are getting re-released on current hardware, or it may indicate something much more interesting with both games potentially being remastered. A re-release would be fine considering backwards compatibility for these games is not available on PlayStation, but it's like I showed in that video. To this day, those games are completely and fundamentally hacked and broken beyond repair. To re-release those games in their current state would actually have the opposite effect that Activision is hoping for. Instead of fans taking a trip down memory lane and enjoying two of the most formative games in the franchise, instead players would be met with countless mods, infections, hackers, and honestly, it would just tarnish the warm fuzzy memories that a lot of people have for each of those games. That's why I thought it would be much more interesting if they were to do a proper remaster of both titles, and I don't think that's too far out of the realm of possibility. Call of Duty 2025, based on what we know right now, based on leaks and rumors and industry insiders and everything, the game is reportedly going to be much more of an add-on compared to a brand new title. It's been rumored that COD 2025 will release with all Black Ops 2 maps remastered, with very few in the way of original launch maps. There's also talk of it having carry forward from Black Ops 6, like essentially it's going to be the Treyarch version of what we had in 2023. And look, while the newer Modern Warfare 3 was a pretty solid title, it's arguably one of, if not the best game from the Warzone/skill-based matchmaking era, but at the end of the day, it didn't sell very well. Warzone was in the gutter at the time, and the entire game had that narrative that it was a $70 expansion pack, and sales were down something to the effect of 38% during the launch window. A repeat of that here in 2025 is the exact opposite of what Activision wants right now, because for the first time in forever, they have some intense competition coming up with the release of Grand Theft Auto 6, and then after that, Battlefield 6. Activision is going to have to do something big if they want to compete with those games, and by the time they are released, the bright and shiny relaunch of Verdansk that we currently have right now will be nearly a year old. That nostalgia, while powerful, probably is not going to carry COD through its toughest competition in half a decade, and I think that's why they're trying to think outside the box with the original Modern Warfare 2 and the original Modern Warfare 3. Remastering both of those games in sort of a pseudo Master Chief Collection style could actually do some huge numbers, but there are still a number of drawbacks on top of that. The original Modern Warfare 2, for example, just had all 16 of its original maps remastered just last year, right? It hasn't even been that long, so that would definitely affect the overall feeling of returning to play on those maps once again. Had they never brought those maps back, then a proper remaster of Modern Warfare 2 would have been insane. Like seeing all the original maps with their original quirks and sightlines and everything just lovingly recreated after 16 years would have been insane, but now that magic is gone thanks to all those maps re-releasing just last year. The one thing they could do, however, to make a remaster of Modern Warfare 2 feel special is to finally finish the game, fix it up, polish it a bit, and do all the things that the original Infinity Ward team was unable to back in 2009 thanks to their mass exodus that they had with Activision. The biggest thing, of course, would be implementing Robert Bowling's forgotten patch, a patch that was never pushed through, mind you, which would have nerfed one-man army grenade launchers, scavenger explosives, and of course fixed broken things like red dot sights that were not aligned properly, or suppressors on certain weapons still making you show up on the minimap. Random quirks, random bugs like that. All of those things were going to be fixed in Modern Warfare 2, but the update never went live because they essentially had a skeleton crew running that game throughout the latter half of its life cycle. I think there is something to be said about certain bugs and certain quirks in the older games sort of adding charm to the game itself, and we certainly saw that back in the original Modern Warfare Remastered. Things like the melee attack on the Silence G3 not working right, we had things like the ACOG M40A3 giving it more damage, and then the red dot sight on the AK-47 giving it less range. These were weird bugs, weird quirks, yet Raven Software lovingly recreated all these bugs and quirks into the game to give us that authentic Call of Duty 4 experience. And so while I can see why people would want to have the same thing happen with a remaster of Modern Warfare 2, I feel like in the case of that game, there were certain outliers that straight up just broke the entire multiplayer experience. Like fixing One Man Army would have to be their top priority because it was abused to hell back in 2009 and 2010, and I don't even want to picture a reality where today today's gaming culture gets their hands on this setup. Like every single lobby, once people were leveled up enough to have one-man army, would just be sitting there spamming grenade launchers. Like, you thought it was bad back in the day. Imagine what it would be like now with TikTok and YouTube and Twitch and all that bullshit, man. It would just be freaking crazy, man. It would be straight up unplayable. And they could also do a number of other fun things to just kind of spice up the game outside of just making it a faithful remaster. Picture things like prestige rewards, like the ones we have in Black Ops 6, or adding a proper mastery camo to go after you get your fall camo for all weapons, or making it so secondaries like your shotguns and your machine pistols can actually have camos. There's a lot for them to work with there, and the same is true of a potential remaster of Modern Warfare 3. The possibilities here are really endless, but you guys know exactly what I have to bring up next. If they were to remaster Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3, Activision would certainly monetize the holy hell out of those games. The big one to start with would be skill-based matchmaking. Of course, the magic of the golden era Call of Duty games, I personally think, would be lost, because instead of having an organic experience where players just used whatever and you're connecting to people from your area, every lobby of Modern Warfare 2 would be full of UMP-45s, and every lobby of Modern Warfare 3 would be full of MP7s and ACRs. You then have the question of how would the Modern Warfare 2 killstreak system work with a modern audience? In a game like this, where a 5 kill streak can easily turn into a chopper gunner, how crazy might killstreak spam be in 2025 as compared to 2009? What about the death streaks in both games? Because for some ungodly reason they decided to make death streaks a thing back in the day in both Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. Would those be removed? Would they be possibly reworked? And what about the shop? Because at the end of the day, everything comes down to the shop here in the COD franchise, and I think the shop would be a huge question mark for a lot of us. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be playing Search and Destroy on Arkaden, for example, and having to clutch up against a team consisting of the Ultimate Warrior, Rocket Raccoon, and Bobby Boucher from the Waterboy. We saw examples of this in the original Modern Warfare Remastered as well, where they decided to faithfully recreate the entire game, the quirks with the weapons and the bugs, and the maps were all perfect and everything, but then Activision said, well, let's add supply drops. We need more supply drops in the game, and people aren't going to buy supply drops unless there's good stuff in there, so they started to add game-changing weapons into Modern Warfare Remastered, which fundamentally changed up the entire meta of the game. If you played MWR a lot back in the day, then you'll remember things like the 44 Magnum, so it replaced the Desert Eagle, and the BOS-14 assault rifle was an objectively better AK-47. It had the fastest time to kill of any full-auto assault rifle in the game, and so these DLC guns that weren't even available in Call of Duty 4 get added into the remaster and then start replacing the original guns from back in the day, and that certainly disgruntled a lot of Call of Duty fans, myself included, as somebody who started off with COD 4 and absolutely loved the original COD 4 experience. I definitely think there is something to be said about leaving the old games as they were and not tarnishing the legacy that they have. This being the Call of Duty franchise, however, Activision will always put their greasy mitts all over anything if it can help them make a buck, and a lot of these older games have essentially been picked clean in terms of content, everything from the maps to the guns to even the characters and operators. Most of them have been copy and pasted from past games into future games in order to sell old COD fans on nostalgia. I definitely think they missed their mark when it comes to these remasters. There have been countless times over the past 10 years where a proper remaster of Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3 would have been a massive success, but Activision squandered nearly all of those opportunities. In all of these years, the only proper full remaster we've ever seen was Modern Warfare Remastered, which of course remade Call of Duty 4, and that game came out in 2016, nearly 9 years ago. It seems like now that Activision have their backs against the wall with Grand Theft Auto 6 and Battlefield 6 coming out, they are finally opening up to the idea of using their extensive back catalog of beloved games, and it's going to be really interesting to see what might come of this. Sure, they may just be re-releasing these games on PlayStation to make a quick buck. They might also be trying to fix these older games in order to cross-promote future Modern Warfare titles, or they may be gauging interest in future remasters, but regardless, as of right now, it's all still up in the air and it's all speculation. But as somebody who put a metric shit ton of time into both of these old games back in the day, I wanted to sit down and just talk about the entire conundrum that we have surrounding remasters here in the Call of Duty franchise. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video here today. Be sure to sub to the channel if you guys haven't already. Leave your thoughts and feedback on Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 potentially being remastered down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for your continued support of me and my channel, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.